This is a short little video on using UPS API. You may start by creating a new folder called UPS-API and then download the UPS-API PHP file from Canvas. Then create a text file. Let's just call it test UPS API, which is a PHP code that we're going to use for testing this UPS API. Let's open this up in Notepad++ and then do a save as PHP file. So opening PHP tag and closing PHP tag. Let's also open up the UPS API file. Let's see what it looks like. So this file has two functions. The first one is getDistance. So getDistance will give you, well, getDistance will take two parameters. It doesn't matter what parameters this is. This is actually a fake API, it does not really work. So it takes two parameters and then return a supposedly number of miles between those 2 points. But this number of miles is actually a random number that's generated between 1 and 100. Okay, so based on this distance that came back, then you can put that value into the second function, which is getShippingCost. So this second function will then give you a shipping cost based on the distance. So if the distance is less than 10 miles, then it will be, the cost is $3. If the distance is between 11 and 25 miles, then the cost is $5. If the distance is between 25 and 75 miles, then it will be $10. Else, anything above 75 miles, but of course less than 100, is $15. So that's it. There are some test functions here to use both the distance as well as the shipping cost. But we're gonna create that code, the test code inside here in the test UPS API. Okay, let's start coding. So suppose that we are at the end of your shopping cart process where you already have the total for whatever has been bought by your customer, and let's say this total is $100. Well, let's make it more interesting, $100.45. Now, what we need to do next is to find the shipping cost and then add the shipping cost to the total to get a grand total, which then we will charge the customer. So how do we get this shipping cost? We need to use this UPS-API type of a fake file. So before we use this file, we need to import this file. We will do a require once. So this is ups-api.php. So this whole process is supposed to mimic calling an API, an external API, similar to how we call Twitter API. However, we do not do any authentication and authorization, of course, in this particular example. Before I was thinking of using an actual FedEx or UPS API, but there's too many challenges involved and I was not able to make it happen. So I'll just use a fake UPS API PHP file. So going back to our exercise here, so the total is $100. So the next thing we need to do is to find the distance. So to get the distance, we're going to call this function getDistance actually. Throwing in 2 points. Now, as I said before, it doesn't matter what 2 points because what you get back is a random number between 1 to 100. But once you get the distance, you want to get the shipping cost. Let's just call it cost. And this is done by getting this getShippingCost function. So getShippingCost function will give you the cost, the shipping cost, once you give it the distance. So once that is obtained, then you can then calculate the grand total, which is the distance, which is the total plus the cost. And then you can echo out that grand total. In fact, let's echo out the whole thing. First echo out the total, then do a break, then echo out the cost, then do a break, and then echo out the grand total. Save the file. Let's go and run it. Localhost. Of course, you must make sure your WAMP is up and running. So here is the original cost at the end of the checkout process was $100.45. The shipping cost was $10. So the grand total is $110.45. Let's go back to our code again. So this is how we use the fake UPS API that is used for your homework. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. And otherwise, have a good week. See you.